All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we will welcome our guest, Stephen May. How are you, Maisie?
I'm going well, fellas. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, yeah, good enough. It's been a long season, but we're winding up.
Yeah, it's a tough little run. Tough little run. I've
Yeah,
definitely been there many times. So,
That's right.
um,
That's right. We'll definitely get into that this evening, mate. First and foremost, what are you up to these days? Where are you playing your footy? And yeah, what have you sort of
I've
settled
just
on?
I've been enjoying retirement. So I've been playing a lot of golf. I've gone on some holidays with the family. I've got a young daughter who's 1.5, so spending a bit of time with her, which has been good. And um, yeah, playing a few games for East Ringwood, which is in the Eastern Footy League. My friend is the president, so he sort of wrote me in. I was pretty content on not playing this year, but no, it's been good. It's very different. It's like a different sport almost. Um, After playing in the AFL for so long, like it's yeah, you get a. I mean, I used to get frustrated at the best of times on the AFL field, so the local footy's pretty hard. But no, just trying to enjoy. But I'm about to go into my next career, so I'm yeah, just trying to. I think I'm getting a bit bored of not doing much, so I'm looking forward to that.
yeah. What's that next career going to be? Do you think getting into that soon?
Yeah, I'm going into commercial properties investments, so like industrial warehousing, that sort of thing. So it's a big market down here in Melbourne in that sector, and yeah, I've done some work experience with some different companies, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It feels like I guess because I'm so new to it. It almost feels like when you get drafted, like you've got so much to learn and prove yourself, and um, yeah, it's just a bit of a breath of fresh air, and yeah, it's good not to. I mean, I've footy's my life, and I've loved it my whole life, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. So it feels weird, yeah, having like a new passion, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. We had Nathan Bock on last week, and he was saying a similar thing about finishing up footy and having a look for that other thing to find that routine and sort of get back into the new sort of life and what that looks like. And I know Luke's going to want to get to. You mentioned drafting, getting drafted and draft stories. I know Luke loves those, and you sort of took that different. You're one of the first, I guess. Was it a zone selection sort of pathway?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one for me because I got pre-selected as a zone selection at the start of year 12. So I've my draft year when all my mates were you know trying to get ready to get drafted, I was already signed with the Suns, so it was a bit I could have went up and played VFL and lived on the Gold Coast, but I wanted to finish I had a scholarship at Melbourne Grammar, so I wanted to finish that off. I've already done 10 and 11, so I wanted to finish what I started. And yeah, I finished up, and then as soon as I did my last exam, straight up to the Goldie for our first preseason, and yeah, that was good. It almost felt like a bit of a school camp kind of thing because we were all 18 or 17, and there was a lot of us and only a few older boys. So um, yeah, it wasn't a normal pathway. A lot of the guys were working really hard throughout the year and trying to get their bodies right and run a good 2K time and all those sort of things to get noticed. Whereas I'd signed like at a cafe up the street from my boarding house, and it was just I didn't.
Yeah, right.
When you're growing up, you're kind of like going to go to the draft, and don't know where you're going and all that sort of thing. And yeah, had a meeting with my manager and Scotty Clayton, and yeah, it just gives me a contract in like January of my draft year, and I was a bit like, this isn't how I had it drawn up, but I
Yep.
wasn't going to complain. I got to sign, and I was one of my boarding house mates was Alex Keith, who he signed as
Yep.
well, and then he dogged us and went to cricket. So that was we were looking forward to it. We are talking about it all year. We're going up to the Goldie, and then about halfway through the year, he got cold feet, or I don't know if he got a better offer in cricket or something happened,
Yep.
but yeah, he started avoiding me a bit because I said, oh, we'll go watch the VFL play and that sort of thing. And yeah, he wasn't really interested. And yeah, he went to cricket and then eventually found his way back to footy later on. So,
Yep.
but it would have been good to go up and start our careers together on the Suns because we played obviously school footy together at Melbourne Grammar, and he's a good man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we met with him at some point when he was looking to come back as well, but the dog snared him, and he's just been unreal for them. That's all right. We got one back off Cricket Australia. We got Zach Evans from the ODI team in our squad at the moment. So that last year of Year 12 for you, Maisie, was was it pretty cruisy for you knowing that you were going to get drafted? Did you take the foot off the pedal a little bit?
Oh,
Um,
100%. That's probably the worst thing that happened to me because, you know, while a lot of guys were getting fit, getting ready for the draft camp, I was like, I'm ready. I mean, I can't go anywhere else. And I've still played, like the Suns let me play a few school footy games.
Mhm.
They sort of limited on my amount of games for the year. So if I wanted to play for Northern Territory, that sort of, I wasn't allowed to play TAC Cup or anything. But yeah, I was probably got a bit, not a bit lazy, but like I sort of didn't focus that much at school because I was kind of like, you know,
Got
really
it
know what I'm
sorted.
doing now. Yeah, and so that I mean, in a way, like I could focus on school a little bit more, but I just couldn't wait to like go up and live my dream because that's all I wanted to do, and I just couldn't wait to get on that flight to the Gold Coast and meet my teammates and yeah, get started in preseason and yeah, the journey that was it was quite a wild ride at the start, that's for sure. It wasn't the normal sort of you know, start a lot of clubs, well, a lot of teenagers go through. It was a bit of making it up as you go.
Yeah, especially being drafted as a forward, playing as a forward at school footy and all those sorts of things. And then ended up debuting, I think it might have been round 6 as a back.
Yeah.
How was that sort of transition as well once you got to the club? Was it sort of a whatever you can sort of find a spot to do, you kind of had to do with all the young names there?
Well, to be fair, when I met with Scotty Clayton, and I was like an all-Australian forward in the under-18s, I've been kicking goals for my school. Like that's all I ever thought about. And he said, I think you're going to be a really good full-back. And I was like, what? I've never been in the back 50 before. And I sort of left that meeting with my manager going, is this guy, like, I don't like where he's coming from. So
Yeah.
I had Carlton and Richmond were really keen for me to come to them as forwards. And so we tried to do a little sign and trade deal. So Gold Coast would literally get a draft pick for nothing because they can sign me for nothing. But Scotty Clayton was adamant that I was going to be a back. So I went up. And when you're 17, 18, you're not picky. You're like, I'll go wherever. I just want to try and play football. And so I was trained with the forwards. And it wasn't until, that's right. Bocky broke his leg. Well, not that year, sorry. Bocky got suspended against Port Adelaide after we won our first game.
Yeah.
And then I came in to debut that week against Essendon and we lost by like 180 points or something. It was the hardest. And I went for Essendon, so it was like a dream come true and then like a nightmare in the same day.
Yeah.
And then I got dropped the next week, even though Kyle Remus kicked 8 on Carmichael or something, but he wasn't getting dropped. So I played all right on Paddy Ryder, but you know, Bocky was the vice captain. He had to come back in. And then I came back in the week after, I'm pretty sure. But what ended up happening, I played, 5 or 6 games my first year and played a couple up forward, some down back. And then went around in the preseason. I played pretty well towards the end of the year as a forward. So I thought I had a sort of, you know, I'm going to be a forward. And then Bocky broke his leg. And what Bluey and Dean Solomon and Kenny Hinkley did was they trialled me, Sam Day, Charlie Dixon and Tom Lynch as centre-half backs, like 1 week at a time. And the other guys played forward. And it's that old, you know, analogy, like if someone asks you make a cup of coffee, like make them a shit cup of coffee. Otherwise they will keep asking you to make it. And those boys played shit down back and I played well. And that's it. That's how it happened. Like Lynchy knew what he was doing, went down there, like Tom Hawkins kicked like 4 on him in the first half or something. And then they swapped mid-game. Dicko didn't go well. And I think Sam Day did it right down back. But I played on, I'm going to say it was Ty Vickery and Jack Rewalt. And just, I had like 17 spoils, like a ridiculous number of spoils. That's all I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm just going to spoil everything. And then something happened in that day and that week that Dean Solomon grabbed me and said, like, look, you can be. I'm not pissing in your pocket. Like, if you really apply yourself this preseason, because it might have been like towards the end of my first year. So if you really apply yourself, you could become an All-Australian backman. And I was kind of like laughing, like, yeah, I don't think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm a forward, but again, young, cocky kid, you kind of like, no, this is what I've been dreaming of. This is what I'm going to do. And but I did. I wanted a spot in the team. I was in and out of the team a fair bit, so I was like, I'll play back if it means I can get in the side. And yeah, that's sort of happened. Like, he took me under his wing, Solly, and sort of flogged me all preseason. Like, I had to do extra boxing sessions with him and stuff because he said I needed to get fitter and all this. He really did treat me like a mentor as well as a coach. And yeah, I'll forever be grateful for what he did because, yeah, the next year I played, most of the games, unless I was suspended or, like, it wasn't like I was getting dropped anymore. So, yeah, it was a turning point, but it's not being a fullback in a startup club's not the greatest place to be every week.
Yeah.
Right.
You get plenty of ball though.
Yeah,
Oh,
Or
mate,
who looks at it.
Or you get plenty of ball, but you get plenty of goals kicked on you as well. So that's what people talk about. And I actually joke. Guy McKenna used to joke and say, "You're shaving years off Maisie's career, you boys." When they had let 80 inside 50s in and like 70, he goes, "There's other fullbacks around the league who are defending 50 inside 50s, and he's 19 defending 70 and 80. Like, you're going to kill him." And what I took out of that though is it fast tracked my development because I got a lot more opportunities, obviously, and I got more chances when I lost the contest or lost someone on the lead. I knew I was going to have another chance at it in the next 5 minutes probably. So that really helped. And then you sort of get better quicker because you got high volume. And then when we started getting better, you started looking better as a player, even though I was probably playing a little bit better, but people would talk about you more because, one, you're not getting 5 goals kicked on you every week, and two, like, especially once I got traded down to Melbourne and we were a good team, like I only had to play good for defend my man for maybe 10 entries, and I got in the best.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, I would defend my man for 30 entries and win 10, but he's kicked 6 on me, and it's like,
Yep.
So I really do think that helped a lot. Getting thrown in the deep end and getting destroyed every week and learning from the best.
Yeah, I think I heard Will Schofield say something similar at West Coast in that 2012-13 sort of period, at training on like Mark Lacroix, Josh Kennedy sort of period, and then they get to 2017-18, well 15-16 to 18 when they win it. They sort of end up with a system that sort of works instead of everyone trying to just play as well as they can with the ball coming in all the time. It sort of simplifies things compared to what they're used to. And
Bluey McKenna played a one-on-one defense, so you can imagine running around with Nick Rewalt for 120 minutes with no help. You just can't keep up with him, right? And then you go to a more established team with the team defense because you can afford to do that. And the game's a lot easier. You hand him over and you hold your position. Whereas, again, like, I know it wasn't ideal for us, but it made you learn like how fit and how good you needed to be to compete. Because, you had guys like Nick Rewalt and he's one just runs in my head a lot, but because he would run all the way up to the back pocket and run all the way down forward and then across the wings, and it was just, he was a machine. But yeah, definitely there's merit in playing one-on-one. Like, if we've defended, and I think a lot of clubs do this still, but Gold Coast and Melbourne did. If we had a pretty poor defensive night, we would do training match sim, but there was no handovers, so you had to really defend your guy, and that's a good way of, like, if everyone had that intensity and mindset, you'd be hard to score against. But unfortunately,
doesn't always work.
A couple guys' heads drift, or sort of, he'll be right, or he'll win this, and then it's just a big snowball effect. And unfortunately, the fullbacks are the ones who have to usually try and clean it up.
Yeah. Was that something?
He had a couple of good battles with Buddy, and nullified him a few times. Was there any other sort of bunnies that you really enjoyed playing on?
Oh, that's a hard one because the really good players, like I mean, that's the Buddy Franklins, the Josh Kennedys, these guys, like you're super prepared for them because you're like scared you're going to get 10 kicked on you. That's the reality. Like I was like, I really don't want to get 10 kicked on me and be talked about on the show all week, and it's almost a fear that you played well. But then it was the guys there's the young guys who you didn't really know much about, so you couldn't prepare for them, and I wouldn't say you underestimate them, but they try a lot harder than the stars. Like their work rate is like that Ethan Reed, right? Like when we played Gold Coast, nobody wants to play on Ethan Reed because he is running around like a horse, like a bloody racehorse. Whereas Ben King will stay deep, and like Jed Walter will sort of drip. Like, you know what I mean? You got guys who are not going to run as much. Whereas that Ethan Reed, man, he's a machine. So there's that aspect, but then there's the other aspect of it. I don't want to say a poor forward because there's no poor forwards. Like the best forward on each team's very good. But if you're expected to beat them, there's a layer of pressure again, because it's like, well, he shouldn't be kicking goals on you. But then you play on someone like Bud, and you stop them, and you just get praised for it. So yeah, it's kind of double-edged sword. It's like there's the hype. It's always good to beat the really good players, but then sometimes you do a really good job on a really, probably say we'll call them A grade players and not A plus, like the Buds, and you don't really get any credit. It's kind of like, oh, well done, so you should have. You know what I mean? It's not like, or there'll be a young kid who kicks 2 on you, and everyone's kind of like, how did that happen? It's like, well, he's a gun. Like, he's a good player. Like, So that's the sort of pressure you get as a fullback playing on the best forward. The job you'd want is to be like you're playing on the second or third drop-off sort of, because no one's really watching that matchup, and you can get goals kicked on you and get away with it. Whereas if someone kicks a goal on me and I'm not even on them, like I guarantee you in the match report, they say they kicked it on me. So, you got that little bit of pride that you hang on to. You get a bit pissed off about that.
And then you almost forget when Buddy kicks 10 after a few years, but then Kyle Remus kicks 8, and you're like, well, you're going to talk about that forever. So like Mark Lacroix kicking 12 sort of thing always comes up, and it's just one of those things.
And the good Tom Lynch, not the one from the Suns, the one from Adelaide, he kicked 10 too, I'm pretty sure. So,
he did against the Giants.
Yeah, see, so it does happen. I think Josh Bruce might have kicked 10 too one time.
He did. He also hit the post from the goal square, so you can sort of do both.
There's obviously a lot of memories for you, Maisie, and you spoke about like those times when you started to get good in 2013, 2014, and then obviously the drop off with Gaz, and then Rocket came in and started to get good again, and then the drop off. Like there were so many false dawns at the Suns. How was that? Was that hard to handle? And did you always kind of think that we had the group to make it, or it would just click?
Yeah, it's there's a few layers to that. When obviously the Gaz injury, as kids or young men, he was such a freak, and the stuff he would do would galvanize the group. So when he did get injured, like you could just feel like the bubble just bursted, kind of. And it was a really bad injury, and everyone felt bad for him. He would have won the Brownlow that year too. I promise you, he was unbelievable. And we were a chance to make finals for the first year. So there's all this pressure, like there's all these things, all these firsts that were coming. And the thing is, early on in our career, we were told, in 5 years, you guys will be the best team. In 5 years, you guys will be top 4. In 5 years, you guys. But we kept losing players. Like we kept trading good players, and we'd get a high draft pick. But then he's 2 or 3 years away from being good. And then it just kept happening, right? It's just a cycle. And we didn't do too well recruiting free agents as well. Like we either got guys who were older and sort of, only had a couple of years left and were coming up to do a bit of more of a leadership role than a star player. Like Pierce Hanley was one we got who was a really good player and was older, but a lot of the other guys were sort of on the back end of their career. And so you sort of got your hopes up, and then they dropped down and they changed coach. Rocket was really good because, he obviously he'd been playing in finals, and he had a good team at the Dogs, and he had a good team at the Swans. So, and he was really hard and brutal. And one of the things he taught us was how protected we were on the Gold Coast, and I didn't really get that until I got traded. But we would go down and, let's say we played St Kilda at Marvel Stadium and lose by 40 points. We get on the plane, get back to the Goldie. The sun's shining. We go down the beach. We go down to the nice cafes along the water, have a swim. The fans are like, "Oh, bad luck, good try. Like, you guys did well. Like, nearly next time." And that was the sort of the brunt of what you'd cop.
Yeah.
And then but what you sort of needed was, I don't know if it would work these days now, because you're not allowed to say a lot of things these days, but like, we needed that honest, like, harsh reality. Like, we're not watching any of the footy shows. Like, in Melbourne, there's 100 footy shows on. Social media is a lot more prevalent now, so you can't really dodge it. But yeah, you say you got 10 goals kicked on you, and I'm not saying you got 10, but like, if you had a bag kicked on you, or you played shit, nobody knew on the Goldie. Like, then they didn't really care. And so you sort of got away with it a bit. You're kind of like, oh, well, I didn't get dropped, and maybe that's okay. You come to Melbourne and you win. You win the game, but you don't win by enough. And the fans, the news are talking about sacking your coach, talking about the team doesn't have these like, it's a brutal reality. And you're going, we just won by 20 points. But we should have won by 50. And it's like, you can't escape it. And the amount of cameras that are at training, watching every little thing, if you're moving gingerly, if that gets reported, like, there's just like, and then the not just our fans, as in, when I say our, I mean Melbourne and Melbourne, it's the other fans on the streets and stuff. Like, they're brutal. So we never got that on the Goldie. Like, it was if we went to Adelaide and got flogged in Melbourne and flying back to Melbourne, you'd get to the airport and like try and get to your car and go home.
Yeah.
In Goldie, it was like getting back to Goldie is like, we're back in paradise. No dramas. The only worry was Rocket on Monday morning. That was what we were scared about, and because he would hit us between the eyes, and we deserve it, we needed it, but that's what I think a lot of our players, they didn't build that resilience early because they never had to really deal with it. Now's a different time. Like, obviously you've seen the Suns, what they're going through now. They're in the news every week because they're losing, but like 10 years ago, they would have let you get away. Like, but obviously
2 years ago. Yeah,
exactly. 2 years ago. Like, but now you got Dimmer, you got all these recruits, you got all your star academy players are coming through. Like, they've sort of got everything ready now. So that pressure is warranted, and that criticism is warranted. But yeah, I never had to deal with any of that. It was, so when I went to Melbourne, they just come off a prelim. So we were expected
losing prelim. Yeah,
losing prelim, and we were expected to be a finals threat, and that's why I chose Melbourne over Collingwood. And that first year, we finished 17th, and Collingwood played in the grand final. So I was copping it because apparently went to the wrong club. Melbourne is shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a whole narrative changes, and people don't realise that. Like, that when I first got to Melbourne, 14 of our players were in for surgery at the start of like in the off season. So half the guys I was training with before Chrissy, I didn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, God, we're no chance this year. And so that would be one thing, would be the sort of being protected by the media up there. They're not anymore, because I don't know if you guys see, but it's all down here at the moment. And even like you see Track and Lombard, like that sort of combo would happen so many times in a game. And I can guarantee you, if the Suns have been winning, that would be showing that clip as unbelievable leadership. And they'll be saying, look at these standards that Christian's holding this young kid to. Look at, but because you're losing, oh no. That's just how it works. Like, you could be, I remember with, and I'm going a bit off topic, talking a bit about Melbourne here, but I'm just trying to give you a bit of a contrast. Like, when our culture was at its best, we were playing really bad footy. And to be honest, when our culture was not at its best, we won like 11 in a row. So the fans, the media that might say all these things, yes, obviously there's a correlation, and maybe it's delayed and it catches up later or whatever. But whatever happens on the field, that you don't know what's going on off field. Like the Suns could have unbelievable culture in the rooms right now. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not there, but just because you're not getting results, that's all anyone cares about, and they will just draw their own conclusions. So, if you know, like I know Track really well, I'm good mates with him. Like he's not a guy who sprays people. He's not a guy who says things to upset you. He would never mean to upset you. He's like probably one of the nicest, most empathetic guys you'd meet. So, I haven't seen the footage too much, but there's obviously someone ran a wrong route, and he was meant to get the ball, whatever. But that's just been blown up. But that's what happens when you're not winning, and that's what I learnt once I came to Melbourne. So, winning solves everything.
Yeah, 100%. Like nothing's ever as good as or as bad as the media make it out to be.
100%.
Yeah, I was interested to hear your thoughts on Track because I know he's just a star and the media paints him in such a bad light.
Yeah. I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he's done. Like when he got injured, he got painted as the bad guy because he nearly died. He was in ICU. Got mentally rocked by it. His family got rocked by it. His wife got rocked by it. And so they should. Like it was a really scary time. And he got painted as a bad guy for it. Media make up shit again. They said that we were all off him. We weren't off him. Not everyone wanted him to come back. Everyone wanted to see him. We were told not to contact him as much because he's in a pretty bad headspace. But everyone, like nobody was off him. And then you read in the paper, you're like, Melbourne leadership groups off Track, and then he reads that and he thinks we're off him. And it's like people just make shit up. And it's a shame because they start sort of fights within the club, and that's what they want to do. Like that's what they're good at. They're good at making headlines. But Track's like I'll try to give you an example. Like there'll be a guy who's really doing my head in on the team, right? And I'm trying to complain to Track about it. And I probably have 10 reasons why I'm right. But he will find one reason why we should back him in. We're in a leadership meeting. I'm like, mate, this guy, how many times have we got to do this? He's doing this over and over. Like, it's really driving me. And Track will still, even if he agrees with me, he would still find a way to support that guy and say, oh, maybe like, let's try this. Or maybe he's thinking like this. Or how do we know he doesn't have something going on off field? What, like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not that guy. He's not that type of guy. That's why I thought it's not funny, but like all of us Melbourne players that play with him, we're finding this scenario really hilarious because that's probably the last guy that you would sort of see in that situation. Like anytime he stuffs up, and we're like, "Fuck me, Track," He's always just like, "Yep, that's me." He would never argue that, So yeah, it is a bit of a weird one, out of character. But again, we don't know there's no mics out there. I mean, we can lip read, but you don't actually know what was said. You don't know if it could have been something that happened earlier. It could be something they've been working on for weeks. Like, there's so many layers to it. Like, I guarantee you, if that's a one-off thing that a young player's done, Track's not reacting like that. Yep. There's just no way.
Yeah. And you see there was a thing on, might have been Footy Online or something.
I think I've lost you boys, sorry. Hold up. I'll exit and come back in.
No worries.
Yeah, I got lost before as well. My bloody sister tried to call, and the call just left me.
Oh, okay.
Hopeless. And then I came back and he's talking about Track. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
But should be fine.
He'll be back in. Jeez, he tells a lot of things. It's good, eh?
Yeah, it's good.
This could go for hours.
Yeah. Oh hell. What did you say while I was fluffing around?
Just how nice Track is, and like it's, he's like the most caring person.
Yep. Nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah, we'll clip that.
Back.
It's refreshing.
You got me?
Yep.
Back.
Oh, sweet. Sorry,
Yeah,
fellas. I don't know what happened there. I just lost you.
Yeah. A few technology issues tonight.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so obviously a big jump for you, Maisie, going from the Suns to the Melbourne bubble and the fishbowl. I mean, in that first month, you had having the beer in the pub and cameras everywhere. So how did you adapt to the fishbowl?
Yeah, not great. I'll be honest. I used to go out after games on the Gold Coast, go down to Nobby's, go out to Love. We used to go to in Broadbeach. Like, it was, do whatever, and there was never an issue. But yeah, I think there was a big magnifying glass on me because I was a big recruit at the time, so people were always watching. And then when I got injured in my first game, I was out for about 10 weeks with groins, and yeah, I just went to the pub on a Sunday afternoon after we lost on the Saturday, and I didn't play. I was still about 6 weeks away, and had a beer. I was on my own as well, and someone's taking photos, sent it in, and it just turned into this massive story. And I kind of bit back at the club. I was like, what's I don't understand what the problem is here. Like, I could have a beer at home and you guys wouldn't care. Like, and they're just like, you don't understand. Like, it's the optics, like, you're injured. You shouldn't be out in public drinking. I said, but I just had a beer. Like, I say at a Sunday lunch, I was really struggling to understand what I'd done wrong. And a lot of people were like on my side. They're like, what has he actually done? Like, has he broken the law? Or is he, what? No, he just shouldn't be drinking. It's like, shouldn't be, or he's not allowed to. Oh, it's just not a good look. So it's like, I had to front the group, apologize to everyone. My teammates were like, you don't have to apologize for this. This is ridiculous. But it was the media manager and the general manager were like trying to control this story. This new recruits out drinking when he should be playing. And it didn't help that we're getting flogged. Again, as I touched on before, we're getting flogged. So I tell you, if we were winning and I went and had a beer, no one would have given a shit. But that was the reality. And so, yeah, I struggled a little bit with that to start. And it sort of has another double-edged sword. Like, they watch you like a hawk, but if you play like okay, they talk you up like you played really well. Like, I'm talking about Tom Barrass at the start of the year. Like, he was playing good, but they were talking about him like he was Matthew Scarlett. Like, I was like, he's playing well, and he's played better at West Coast, but because he just wasn't playing for Melbourne in a Melbourne side. And that's just a classic example. Like, he's a really good defender, don't get me wrong, but he was just doing his role, and they were just raving about him. And I was like, I've played against West Coast a lot, and he was one of the best players on the ground all the time, but nobody talked about it. So there is that, you sort of get noticed better, like, as in, like, you get talked about more if you play well, but you also get talked about a lot more if you don't play well, and especially if you have a big price tag, or they used a big pick to get you, and
like a Ben Mackay at the moment.
Exactly, right. So like, he's didn't negotiate his contract, like his manager did, and the club paid him. So, but he's the one who cops it. And look, I think once you agree to a contract of that size, you've got to hold up your end of the bargain some way. But yeah, it's an easy target though. They just look at his stat. It's funny though, like, you see the well, it's not funny, but like, because I came to Melbourne via a trade that got Ben King to the Suns, right? So pretty good deal for the Suns. They got a gun full forward. And when we first played against them, they were obviously all fired up to play against me, like, giving me shit and all this stuff. And he was just shredding me, like, you walked out on your team, like, you did all this, and I was like, you
wouldn't be there without me.
You're fucking 18. You don't know what it's like. I've just spent 8 years up there. And so this year, when I'm reading all the stuff he's getting traded down to Melbourne, I'm just like, okay. So now you get what it's like. But it's
about to do the same thing.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's you don't know what you don't know. Like, he was 18. He's come in. We're playing against ex-captain, player who left the club. We're going to beat him, all that sort of stuff. But he was using pretty, like, harsh things. You walked out on your team, like, you know, like really harsh. Do you say to like a established player when you're playing your like fourth game? And I was like, hang on, you wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. You'd be playing for Melbourne.
Yeah.
But you know,
Winning flags.
yeah. Like you don't. But it is a good the whole free agency thing and the trade period and all that it's good for the game in terms of you guys got lots to talk about and media love it and fans love it. Like I was playing golf today and these guys are talking about how they're going to recruit players and their team's going to climb up the ladder quick, and I'm just like laughing to myself because I'm like, it's good that because the season's done, you know, like, but they've got something to talk about. So, but I think, as you said before, like, I think the Gold Coast is in a great spot. Like when I left, I was obviously really it was a really hard decision. Like I really didn't want to leave. I selfishly did not think that I would play finals in my time there, like Dave Swallow, right? Like he ended up, I think he did end up playing one
Just
final.
got there, played 2, yeah.
But I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want that to be my career. Like selfishly, I wanted to play on a Friday night. I wanted to play in a finals game. I wanted to play at the MCG more than once every 3 years. Like there was all these things that I wanted to achieve, and I just knew they were probably 7 or 8 years away, and I would be 32, and they probably replaced me by then. So I would have missed out. So that was where my decision came from. So I was actually really stoked for them last year, and this year I was telling everyone they're probably going to win it. So, and they looked like it early, didn't they?
First
weeks.
half an hour of the season was awesome.
Oh, far out! I was thinking there's no one's going to get near these guys. They're not going to lose a game at home.
Yeah.
So there's 10 wins just banked, and so I think though the pressure's starting to come. And
which, like we said, could be needed. Could be the little.
That's what I'm saying. It is. There was no pressure last year. It was a Cinderella story. It was, oh, well done. You know, they might play their first finals game, and Dave kicks I think it was a point or a goal, like to get through. Like it was just everything was just everyone in Australia was going for Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And then in the off season, everyone started hating Gold Coast because they got all these draft picks and academy players. And they started the year in a house on fire, so everyone's off them saying it's not fair. And now they're all loving to hate them because they're not winning. It's just, mate, it's just how it works. Like, it's you don't want to be the team no one's talking about. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But
there.
It's good for your mental health, but not for your career, you know. But Dave, I was talking to Track just the other day. I was just messaging him saying, I'm thinking about you, mate. I know it's tough, and he's just like, it's, you know, we'll be all right. Like he's talking to me like a reporter almost. We'll be okay. We're just you know, we're a young team. We're just learning new things. We're learning how to lose. We're learning how to win, and which is scary because they played in the finals last year and they're still learning all those things. So I'm sure we'll they're screwing my tipping at the moment because I backed them to beat Carlton. I was like, this is the game they're coming for.
Yeah.
The Josh
Every
Fraser
week it's
Cup.
one more week. Yeah. Nick Holman Cup.
Nick Holman Cup. Yeah. Actually, right. You're right. Oh, we're actually playing Melbourne and Gold Coast this week.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on, mate.
That's it. I think Gold Coast win.
Really?
I hope so.
I do. I think they do. I think like they're going to be. They've got everything to play for. Like they'll be fired up. Dimmer will have them fired up to the gills. Gold Coast is Melbourne is a young team with no fear, which is probably a scary team to play against.
Very.
So I think it'll be a good game. But I just think like what are they at now? Like six losses in a row?
9.
Oh, see, I didn't know. So they're not going to lose 10 in a row, can they? They can't. Not with that team. And especially, do you know these little things like the Track and the Lombard stuff's not good, but it kind of like lights a fire under the team. To like, we need to get out of, like, we need to shift the focus. And if I know Track, he's having 30-3 this week, especially against Melbourne, especially after the media stuff, or he's having 5 touches. There's no in between. He's having. You know what I mean?
I prefer the first option, but
no. Like I'm saying, unless he was to get injured or something. But I'm like, if he plays 4 quarters, he will go beast mode. I'm telling you now. And he will want to be right in the front and center of it all.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too. I was actually going to fly up for that game. One of my mates is a Melbourne fan.
Oh, you should, mate.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but yeah, I might just. How's the weather up there? Still good at the moment?
Lovely. Lovely weather.
Always is. How's the weather there in Melbourne, mate?
Fucking freezing. It's like
Can we
it
get
was like
can
60k winds today and like 10 degrees.
we get that message to Ben King just and Bailey Humphrey? They might want to know. Just in case for next year when
they're from here, aren't they? Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They will. Well, hopefully Melbourne get Bailey Humphrey.
Well, you got to go somewhere.
Well, yeah. Well, you get a high pick for him. Like, need to cash in before. Although you guys don't need picks when you have all these academy players that are stars that are coming through. They're all good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you support when you're watching the games? The Suns Demons games.
Probably more the D's, because I don't really know many of the Suns boys anymore. Like, they're all my mates are all gone. There's only who's playing there now? Holman, Miller, or Track, yeah. But I'll be hoping Track play as well. But yeah, after the first few years after I left Melbourne, like, they did a massive clean out, and when we'd play against them, people would say, "Oh, is it weird playing against your old team?" I'm like, not really, because I don't really know anyone out here.
Yeah.
Did you
Charlie Ballard's there still
from Took?
Hey?
Did you cop the spray from Took like Lynch did?
Nah, and that wasn't even true. When I saw that, I don't know why he said that. Nah, he I can tell you what really happened if you want.
Settle the.
Yeah, no. So he went to say. So I rang Lynchy that day, and said, "Lynchy, I'm gonna have to have a go at you in this leadership meeting about meeting with other clubs while we're playing. I'm the captain, so I have to, like, just know that I'm just doing my job, right? Don't take it personally." He goes, "Yeah, I get it. I understand." Like, so we get in the meeting. Lynchy, that's shit house. Like, you shouldn't be meeting with other clubs while we're playing, especially when we're injured. Like, should be supporting us. And he's just sitting there like, just taking on the chin.
Putting the face on.
And then Took Miller and says something like, "Yeah, mate, I just think it's," and he just stands up and goes, "Don't you fucking start talking to me. You don't know shit." And it's just like, because Tom was ready, like, he knew I was going to say it. So he sort of was, and he had his back up and he was embarrassed. And then Took and Lockie Weller both tried to say something. And Tom just stood up in the meeting, and he's got like his fingers like permanently straight. So he's like pointing like this. "Don't you fucking talk," because I think Took he probably was in his like 4th year or something, and Tom's just done 8 years, and he was like, Lockie Weller's first year.
Yeah.
So he was like, "How are you guys telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing for my career when you've just asked for a trade back from Freo? You've just started your career." It's kind of similar to the Ben King thing when he was having to go at me for leaving. But then when we saw that interview, I was like, I don't remember it like that. Unless him and Lockie remembered a different story. But mine and Tom's version was, Tom was very calm, and then once Took started having a go at him, which he did, he went to have a go at him, but Tom stood up at the table and started pointing his finger and saying, "Don't you tell me what," and that was it. But I guess the story looked good though on the Channel 7 feature. It looked better that way.
It's hailed as the stand that Took needed to make, and apparently Lynch was banished from the club. So yeah, very
no. He was. The only thing is, we didn't want him in our Oppo meetings and pre-game meetings, because obviously he was not going to be in our he's going to know what we're trying to do, which is fair, I think. And then he just stopped coming to the club because he didn't feel welcome. And to be fair, he hadn't been at the club because he's been injured and just down in Melbourne. And look, nowadays, free agency is a thing. Like, the way they would be treating Bailey Humphrey and Ben King, and I don't know who else is probably out of contract, or like, they'd be treating them like their teammates still. Whereas when this only just came in, so it was a big deal. It was like the fact that you could potentially be signing with someone at the end of the year without getting traded was a big deal. It was like, how's that going to happen? And we had a lot of band-aids because a lot of good players kept leaving. So, if we could keep those guys, there's a lot of if, coulda, woulda, shouldas, but we did have a really good list. It's just we couldn't keep them together. Like the Giants did it a lot better than us. The other thing is the Giants had a lot more concessions. People don't realize they had. I reckon they almost had twice as many.
Yeah, correct.
So when they did lose a Treloar or something, they got first round pick back, and then whereas we weren't getting that. That would leave big holes when we lost those players. So
Probably had a lot better facilities than us as well.
I don't know. Have you guys seen it? Have you been into the club, Suns?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah, we've been for a look.
Yeah, have you seen where we started? Have they showed you that?
Dongers.
Yeah.
Mate,
Had
when we
hubs.
go up there and play, when I used to play, when we'd drive in, the bus would come in around the back, and you go into the stadium, and I say, "Boys, see that green shed there, and there's demountables?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "That was the whole footy club." They're like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, there's not even a stadium here, and see that big paddock? That was the Oval." And they just couldn't believe it. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, nah, that was it. There were guys going to use the Good Life gym up the road in Nerang because they couldn't put on weight because the shed was too hot. So, like, yeah, when I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, wow, it's amazing we were even competing because, you don't realise. Like, I came to Melbourne, who's probably got one of the worst facilities, and they're so much better than what we had. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm thinking, what's Collingwood got? What's Hawthorn got? And what's West? I went over to West Coast in the hub for the when we had to go play over there for finals, and the West Coast, we got to use the West Coast facilities. That was ridiculous. Like, I mean, doesn't really help much. Like, they're not doing too well, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's just an added layer. I reckon if anything, it helps the most with probably keeping people at the club for longer, as in they want to do recovery, they want to have an ice bath or sauna, they want to do extra vision because there's better computers and all that. But the other thing is free agents, because when I went and met with Hawks, Essendon, Collingwood and D's, that's sort of where they try and wow you, is with the facilities. Whereas I chose Melbourne and they've had the worst out of those. So it's not the be all and end all, but it certainly helps.
Yeah. So, that's probably why the Suns were showing off the club to you in a cafe in Melbourne.
Yes.
The current state of what they had to show off.
And they kept telling us in 3 years we'll have the best facilities in the AFL. And probably my biggest regret, obviously not a lot of regrets, but my biggest regret is I just had a year and a half in our new facilities, and I was loving it when they just finished after the Com Games. And I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. So when I was leaving, I was a bit like, fuck, I've done the hard time, and now I'm going to
miss out.
give it all away. It's a pretty good establishment up there. They got a good setup.
Yeah. That's right. You've got the premiership medal around your neck, so
yes, premiership medals that far exceeds the facilities, but it does make driving to work a bit nicer than going to sitting in the. I didn't mind the shed though, because I always had high skin fold, so it used to help me get my skinnies down. When we come back in the off season, you go to a bike session in there, and you're just dripping, and it's like starting to feel like you're getting fit quicker. But a lot of our little skinny runts who just been drafted, they just poor blokes couldn't put on any weight. So no, mate, there's a lot of good times up there. There's I'm jealous of the guys that are getting drafted there now. Like that place is what a place to live, facilities. The fan base is getting a lot better. You got juniors coming through. Like we used to go do footy clinics, and they would tell us like they don't want us there. Like we like rugby. Like,
Carmichael can stay, but the rest of you have to go.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it was like, what? Like Gary Ablett's there. They don't even know who he is. So we're just sitting around, and then you'd have like pens for signing, and they'll be like, "Oh no, it's okay. I don't want it." So, but I'm sure now it's probably a lot different. So it's definitely a different world.
Yeah. Any favorite memories before we let you go of your time at the Suns, and even looking back, just memorable moments?
Mate, look, to be honest, well, probably when we beat Geelong and I think it was our first game at Metricon. That was full house. I remember like 23,000 or something, which at Metricon feels like 60,000 at the G, like because everyone's on top of you. And it was like we weren't expected to win. Gaz is playing against his old mob, like it was. it was epic. That was probably one of my favorites. And because the stadium, we've been waiting so long, we've been watching it get built for ages. The we had there's so many. We had one when we played Frio in Perth at Subiaco, and we all wanted to go out after the game, and we weren't allowed to on away games. And then Rocket Eid told us if we end up coming back at 3/4 time, we can go out. And I kid you not, we kicked like 5 in a row and came back and won, beat Frio at Subiaco, which was like just an unheard of trip back then. Like, so just little things like that. And then I remember going to the recovery, and then, you know, boys are walking into the pool because we had recovery at like 6 a.m. Guys had only got home at like 4, and they're like hung out, like, you know, and it was just those sort of things. Everyone's having a laugh. We always had to jump in the pool because that was the rules. And probably the best thing for me from the Goldie was the house wars. When we were about 20, 21, we all moved into our share houses, about 4 of us in each house. And we would have wars, like prank wars. And that just is like, the vibe used to just be so good. Like you'd plan it, and it'd be simple things to, you know, stealing one of the boys' cars or something, and for them freaking out, or they egg your house, you know, really childish things. But those sort of, we had about 4 houses of 4 sort of close by, so you always be on the lookout. And then we, at the time, we were all playing like Call of Duty Zombies, and what we'd do is we'd all, as kids would do, put all our TVs in the lounge room next to each other, side by side, so we could all play next to each other in the lounge room, and we'd all have headphones on and all that. And one day we decided to go steal Sam Day's car and park it in the CEO's car park. So then the next day we go to training, CEO comes in, who the hell's car is this? You know, we thought it was harmless. So we snuck into his house, and they were all sitting in the lounge room playing COD with their headphones on. So we literally just walked behind them, got the car keys. Little did we know, Daisy had to go pick up his missus that night from the airport, flying in from Adelaide, right? So we've taken the car, parked it in Travis Ald's park, a big CEO car park, and parked it sideways like this. So it's taken up like 3 parks, like real scumbag move. Hoping that Daisy gets in trouble for it. But little did we know, he's rang the cops at like 11 because his car's gone. But the cops are trying to keep an eye for his car. Anyways, we didn't know anything about it. Get to training the next day. There's a message. Anyone know anything about Sam Day's car in the CEO's car? Please come to my office right now. This is Marcus Ashcroft. And we're like, fuck, boys, we need to get this story together. We need to make sure we make it clear. And I was like, let's just tell him, man. Like, let's just tell him. We ran a gag. Like, we didn't do anything like wrong. We didn't think anyway. It was just bad timing. So Choppers Ashcroft scared the shit out of us. Like, I don't know. We thought we were going to get delisted and shit and all that. We don't know. We were young. We're probably 18, 19. And then we had to go see the CEO, and he thought it was hilarious. He thought it was one of the funniest gags ever. Travis Auld. I was like, thank God. But like those little memories of another quick one for you before we go. Rocket Eid came up, and if we were late for meetings, he used to make us do punishment by recovery in the morning at 6 a.m. And he didn't. He's only just got up to the Gold Coast, so he doesn't know what we're dealing with. But since the middle of winter, someone's missed physio or something. So boys, 6 a.m. recovery tomorrow. Little does he know, we're sipping lattes, Burleigh Beach, body surfing, like the water's mint. The best start to the day you can have, right?
Yep.
And then one day, sorry, it wasn't Rocket, it was Stewie Jew. It was Stewie Jew. It was Stewie Jew's first year, and he's like, this isn't good enough. So and then one day he's like, I'm going to come down and make sure they go. And then he's come down, and he's just seen us like having time
splashing around.
Yeah, like coffee, body surf, getting ready for training, like how good's life. Middle of winter, and he cracked it, and he's like, that's not a punishment. That's no. And so he changed it to, at the end of the day, at after dinner, so 7 o'clock, you had to then go back to Carrara and do an ice bath, like, because it was about being inconvenienced. Your inconvenience, you're not respecting the physio's time or whatever, which is fair enough. But in Melbourne, because that's what we do in Melbourne, is, boys, 6 a.m. Port Melbourne Beach, like, you're like far out. It's dark, it's freezing. and that's what he's sort of come from, you know. And then he's come up to the Goldie, and the boys are just like down at Tully Creek having a swim, having a coffee. Like, this is our punishment. So, yeah, those sort of things I always remember, mate. They're great times.
Yep. No, awesome. It's few and far between for good Gold Coast stories in history. We love
Yeah, a
hearing
lot
them.
more off field, unfortunately, but hopefully
Yeah.
that turns soon.
Yeah, you can probably also tell just from yourself telling them, you probably don't get asked about old Sun stories too often either.
No, I've been hit up for like a lot of podcasts and stuff this year in particular, and I just like, no, I have no interest. And then I saw the Suns one, and I was like, I could talk about the Suns stuff. Like, you know,
Yep.
they were a good time. The Melbourne stuff's all grim. Why did this
Yeah.
happen? Who fought this guy? What happened here? Like, it's like, man, just give it a break. I'm retired. Just let me just live my life now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah,
let me
plenty of
play,
time for the
play
Sun
some
boys.
golf.
Yes.
Yeah, we had Bocky on last week and he was talking about his golf as well, so we may as well ask. Luke doesn't play, but I may as well ask. What's your handicap sitting at? I know retired players love to get out there, even current
Yeah.
players. But
Yeah, so I'm down to 3.2.
oh, geez, you'd have Bocky's number.
Nah, but I'm but you asked me what I'm sitting at now. Now I'm at like 6 point something. I've had a massive blowout
Yeah.
because of I was on this when I retired in February. I played a lot of golf, and I just went on this purple patch where I was just putting up like ridiculous scores, and now they're all dropping out now. So my handicap's blowing out. But yeah, no, I love it, mate. What's yours?
Yeah.
Did you say you play?
Well, yeah, I'm 6 point something as well. So I was going to ask
Oh,
what
so you got me
decimal
covered
number.
at the moment.
No, I'm 6.8 at the moment. So we're
All right.
whatever your decimal is.
Yeah. What do you play at?
Oh, country. I'm at a country course in WA actually.
Oh, right.
So
Oh,
yeah, I'm interstate, but
Interstate
yeah,
Suns member.
one of the few. There's not many of
No,
us.
we used to have one. We used to have one all the time when we'd go and play in Perth. He was
Yeah.
really he loved us, and he was a dead. Oh, I wish I
Is
remember
your
his
dad
name.
block?
Hey,
Yeah, no, it wasn't me.
might have been your old man.
Nah, he's a West Coast supporter.
Yeah, no, but we did have, like, out of all the states and cities we went to, Perth was one of our better turnouts
Mm.
Yep.
for the training days and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the home final, well, the Freo final last year was absolutely insane. There was like this one bay of Suns fans, and you walk down there, like you said, like unrecognized. We were sitting next to like Ned Moyle, all these players that weren't playing, and you're just like, oh, cool. And you just all like the whole media team was in there by the end of the game, and you're like, I recognize these people. No one else cares.
Yeah,
Like-
no one cares.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was awesome. But yeah, no, cool. We may as well ask as well before Luke tells me to shut up. Top three golf courses that you play. We asked Bocky last week. He said a few on the Goldie, but which are your favourites? I saw the PK jacket and the St Andrews flag behind you.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I'm
have
a
played at
member
St Andrews, but
Yeah, I'm a PK member, so I'll have to say that's my number one. It is just amazing. Like, I get invited to other courses, and I still just, I don't know, just prefer to play there. I'll do my three best, and then I'll do one in Queensland for you.
Yep.
Then I'll say Kingston Heath. Kingston Heath would probably be my second. And then I'd say the national golf course. I don't know if you play down there, but it's beautiful.
not.
Like, you got to get down there. It's along the cliffs and that, and unreal views. And my favorite, I was just up there, is the Pines at Sanctuary Cove.
Yep.
I like Brookwater, but it's just I'm just no good there. It's hard.
Horses
But the
for
Pines-
courses sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But I was a member at Burleigh Golf Club for a year.
Yep.
And that's where Bocky, and that's how I sort of got into it, because Bocky, Carmichael, who else was the other one? There was like three of them that would play every week, and we thought it was like a nerds game. We're like, why are these guys playing golf? Like, that's so weird. We're going to like Dream World, we're going to Movie World, like we're doing like all these random things.
You get the super pass for getting drafted. You may as well use it.
Yeah, mate, it's unbelievable. And, Dion Presti used to come with us, and he was afraid of heights, obvious reasons. He's not a
Yep.
very tall guy. But he would just come to Dreamworld with us and just watch us go on all the rides and not come on any rides. And I'm like, why don't you just not come? Why don't you stay at home? Like, but he just wanted to come. It's hilarious. But
Fantastic.
yeah, there's a few. You know, you do your Gold Coast Suns appearances would be at like Movie World and stuff. So it was actually fun taking kids on rides as part of your job. Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, not too bad. It's been an absolute pleasure today. Luke, you got anything else for Maisie before we let him get back to his busy life?
No, all good. It's been a pleasure, Maisie. You've given us more time than we could have hoped for, and it was a ripper. So thanks very much. And if you do get down to the coast or up the coast this weekend, let us know.
Yeah, sweet. All right, boys. Thank you for having me. Take care.
No worries, an absolute pleasure. And if you ever need a fourth at PK, just let me know.
Yeah, sure, mate.
No worries.
See you, boys.
Thank you very much, Maisie. See ya.